Police forces around the world have made hundreds of arrests as part of a major sting targeting organised crime networks. Investigators say they gathered evidence by tricking suspects into using a messaging app controlled by the FBI. The criminals thought their chats were encrypted, but police could read their communications as they plotted drug deals, arms deals and murders. Investigators say the high-tech bust is an unprecedented blow to crime gangs.
Not only have we heard about the number of arrests and the number of seizures, but there were over 100 threats to life that were mitigated. And to give you an idea of the magnitude of our penetration, we were able to actually see photographs of hundreds of tons of cocaine that were concealed in shipments of fruit. We were able to see hundreds of kilos of cocaine that were concealed in canned goods. The success of Operation Trojan Shield is a result of tremendous innovation, dedication, and unprecedented international collaboration. And the results are staggering.
Well, hundreds of the arrests were made in Australia and New Zealand. Joining me now from Canberra is Colin Packham. He's a Reuters journalist. Colin, how exactly was it possible to uncover this network?
Hello. So what we know is that for more than a decade, organised criminals have been using customised phones with encrypted messaging apps. Those apps have changed over the time, but in 2018, the FBI managed to take control of an app that became wildly popular amongst organised criminals, so much so that the Australian and FBI were able to see 25 million messages exchanged over the last 3 years, mostly by organised criminals.
Well, investigators did have access to this network for years. Why the arrests now?
Yeah, it's a good question. We don't really know the answer to that. We know that the FBI will be holding press conferences later. Perhaps we'll get some details about that. But all we seem to know right now is the number of arrests that's been made in Europe and in Australia and elsewhere. We know that there's 18 countries that have made arrests, but we don't know why the authorities have decided to move recently. We'll get to know a little bit more over the next couple of hours, I would imagine.
Colin, tell us more about the type of crimes that have been prevented by these raids.
Yeah, so what we know in Australia is that importation of drugs was widely used in this app, but it weren't just limited to that. There were deals to buy guns and also to plot murders. So the Australian authorities believe there were 21 plots to kill people. One incident involved a cafe and the use of a machine gun at a cafe that was thankfully prevented, but we know that it was a mass use of criminal network that were using this to discuss their criminal activities.
Well, it's probably likely that there are many more of these criminal networks that are as yet undetected, especially where you are.
Well, we know that there's lots of encrypted apps. So the authorities here think they scratched the surface, but there is new legislation that would allow them to view encrypted apps, and authorities are very, very keen to disrupt any activities that they can get their hands on.
Colin Packham, Reuters journalist in Canberra, thank you.
Thank you.